Member for Namatjira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and congratulations, Madam Speaker, on your appointment. And I'd also like to congratulate all the new members here in the chamber for the 15th Assembly for the Northern Territory Parliament. I also, Madam Speaker, want to thank profusely the people in my electorate in Namatjira. I want to thank them for their support and their faith in me to come back to this place after 4 years and represent them. But I also wish to thank the people of the Northern Territory, because the people of the Northern Territory have said loudly that they want change. They weren't happy with what has taken place over the last 8 years, and it's very clear from the outcome of the election that they wanted to see that change, and that has happened, and now it is up to us, the CLP government, to deliver on our promises and that change for the people of the Northern Territory. And it's an absolute honour and a privilege to stand here in this chamber as a minister representing the community, and I'm very, very much aware of the responsibility and trust placed in me by virtue of that position. And particularly in those portfolios of Treasury and the Department of Logistics and Infrastructure. And I think one that's probably a little bit more close to my heart, representing a part bush electorate, is housing construction, to make sure that we as a government are delivering for the people out in the bush. But we have certainly heard the people, and we've come to power on, I suppose, that mandate of law and order, the economy, and our territory lifestyle. And a strong economy needs strong law and order, Madam Speaker. And under Territory Labor, the Territory's reputation took an absolute beating, and sadly the entire nation and some parts of the world saw it on their TV screens. And sadly, Madam Speaker, the Territory is still paying the price for that today. Labor let the Territory's image tank, and that affects where people choose to live, where people choose to invest, and where people may choose to retire. And there's no better example of that than what happened in my community of Alice Springs in the last half of 2022, where Labor pulled out the Stronger Futures laws, didn't put anything in place to deal with that, and we've seen what happened to our community of Alice Springs. And I said it in the previous parliament, and I'll say it again, I will not forgive Territory Labor for what they did to our community. And of course, we're not just standing here talking about fixing it, we're making the changes and already doing the work to fix it. We're sending a clear message to Australia and the world. The Territory is open for business. We are open for investment, and we're open for families to come to the Territory and live here and put down roots here and then call the Territory home. We've heard it today in so many maiden speeches of people that have come to the Territory from somewhere else and made this place home. And we want other people from all over the country to come and do the same. Labor let safety slide. People didn't feel safe in their own homes. They didn't feel safe going about their day-to-day lives. And, Mr Deputy Speaker, we're bringing that back. We want people to feel safe, and we are delivering, and that has already started in the first 7 weeks of the Finocchiaro CLP government. We've seen more active policing on our streets. We're seeing legislative change brought before this House to keep the people of the Territory safe. And whilst Labor sat on their hands, we're rolling up our sleeves and getting the Territory back on track. And as the member for Fong Lim spoke earlier, a strong economy needs a skilled workforce and population growth. And we're working to deliver that, Mr Deputy Speaker, with our homegrown and Fresh Start housing grants. Mr Speaker, we promised to make the Territory the best place to live and raise a family, and we are going to keep that promise and deliver on it. Our homegrown Territory grant is the most generous in the nation. $50,000 for first home buyers, building new houses, and 10,000 for people who want to buy an established house. With the Fresh Start New Home Grant, we're giving first non-home buyers $30,000 to build new. No price caps, no restrictions, just real support and ways to get people to come to the Territory, build here, invest here, put down roots here and grow their families here. But we're not just building houses, Mr Deputy Speaker. We're building communities and we're keeping skilled workers like nurses and teachers right here in the Territory. Labor ignored the housing crisis and we're tackling it head on by stimulating construction and bringing more homes into the marketplace. And of course, while Labor let the crisis grow, we're delivering solutions to boost our population and secure the Territory's future. But a strong economy, Mr Deputy Speaker, also needs business-friendly policies. And we're delivering that through our payroll tax reforms. Mr Deputy Speaker, we all know there's a cost of living crisis in the Territory, but small businesses are also being crushed by a price of the cost to do business. For 13 years, Labor let payroll tax thresholds stagnate, pushing more businesses over the limit and forcing them to pay tax just for growing their business. Hard-working locals were paying payroll tax for the first time while Labor pocketed the extra cash and used it on their pet projects. Mr Deputy Speaker, we're raising the payroll tax threshold to $2.5 million, the highest in the country, saving businesses up to $55,000 a year and stimulating that all much needed business growth for the Northern Territory. Apprentice and trainee wages will also be exempt from payroll tax, encouraging more businesses to train more Territory talent and keep them here in the Territory. And that's what we need to do, Mr Deputy Speaker, is grow our own. This will help small businesses invest in their success. More investment, more jobs and more innovation for the Northern Territory. And I must say, Mr Deputy Speaker, just over the past few weeks, it's actually been quite good to speak to our federal counterparts, and they understand the importance of the Northern Territory. Recently, I spoke with the Federal Treasurer, Mr Jim Chalmers, who understands the importance of the Territory into the future, not just in defence, but in our resource sector as well. And the Federal Treasurer has committed to supporting the Beetaloo and the Middle Arm project going forward. And not only that, Mr Deputy Speaker, the Infrastructure Minister also understands the importance of those projects and our national road network. We need to get these projects out of the ground, not only to help the economy, but also to ensure the Territory's future and that move towards our sustainable power delivery. Gas plays a part in that transition. But I listened earlier to the piece put forward by the opposition leader, and I'm not exactly sure what universe Labor is living in around the budget, but it's certainly not the universe that the rest of us are living in, because I've seen the books, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'll have more to say on this certainly in due course. But sadly, it seems that every rock we turn over, there is another Labor disaster. Bungles and cover-ups kept well hidden from the public. But rest assured, Mr Deputy Speaker, and rest assured, Territorians, we will reveal all the ugly problems and landmines the government left behind when they were just kicking the can down the road. The budget, Mr Deputy Speaker, is in structural deficit, with public sector debt set to hit $12.5 billion by 27-28. That's 5 times worse than what it was in 2016-17, and it is a ticking bomb. This level of debt, had Labor on track to reach, was absolutely unsustainable. Mr Deputy Speaker, it threatens our ability to raise funds and risks skyrocketing interest rates. And this is all thanks to Labor's reckless fiscal mismanagement. Every dollar Labor has saddled us with in debt is a dollar that should have gone to frontline services. The very frontline services, Mr Deputy Speaker, that Territorians rely on. This is for our nurses, our hospitals, our teachers and our schools and our police. We need urgent fiscal reform, Mr Deputy Speaker, to stop this debt spiral and get the budget back into balance. Madam Speaker, we will keep all our election promises and we will fix Labor's mess. We will protect jobs and ensure a prosperous future for the Territory. And we have a plan and are working towards that plan, Madam Speaker. By restoring confidence in our finances, we will attract private investment, create more jobs and finally get the Territory back on track, something that Labor has failed to do. Madam Speaker, we will play to our strengths. We'll play to our resource sector. We will play to our agricultural sector and, of course, play to our pastoral sector. So these are our strengths. These are no-brainers. These are things that we can do. We will introduce the position of the Territory Coordinator to fast-track some of those projects and get those projects out of the ground. Sadly, it was an all-too-common theme amongst business that if you got major project status from the previous Labor government, it was like a death knell. Your project generally didn't go anywhere. We will be turning that around, Madam Speaker. We will make the Territory the place to come and do business, the place to grow business, the place for families to come and live and grow. I will work tirelessly in my pursuit for the growth of the Northern Territory, for the people, of course, of Central Australia and the people within the electorate of Namatjira. And finally, in closing, Madam Speaker, I sincerely want to thank the people from the departments that I am working with currently. Their work in the last 4 weeks since being sworn in as a minister has been phenomenal. There are some great people in the departments that I work with in DLI and in Treasury, and it's really quite heartwarming to walk into those departments, and I've met just about everybody in those agencies. I've got a few left to visit this Friday, but you can see a spring in their step. They want to do things. They're looking forward to the opportunity of a new government, to getting out there and actually delivering on some of the promises that we've put forward. And what more can I say about Central Australia, Madam Speaker? The powerhouses here up the front, 2 ministers and the Speaker from Alice Springs, which is so great to see. And I really look forward to the future of the Northern Territory under a Finocchiaro-led CLP government. The world is our oyster, and we'll be out there delivering on the promises that we've put forward and making the Territory the great place that it once was. Thank you.